June 18, 1815. The muddy fields of Waterloo. Napoleon Bonaparte, the greatest military mind of his era, stands on a ridge, certain of his victory. Across from him, the Duke of Wellington's allied army is braced for a slaughter. History tells us this was the end of the French Empire, but history didn't account for a ghost from the future. Imagine a single man perched 2 kilometers away on a hidden limestone crag, looking through a thermal optic that pierces the morning mist. He isn't carrying a musket that misses at 100 yards. He's cradling a Barrett, .50 caliber semi-automatic anti-materiel rifle. This is not just a soldier. He is a god of distance, a reaper who can erase a world leader before the sound of the shot even reaches the ear. The Battle of Waterloo is about to become the world's first demonstration of surgical psychological warfare. The air is thick with the smell of wet earth and the tension of 60,000 men waiting for the order to die. Napoleon raises his telescope to scout the British lines. In our timeline, he feels untouchable. But in this reality, a red heat signature glows in a high-tech scope. The modern sniper adjusts for the 15-mile-per-hour crosswind. He doesn't aim for the soldiers. He aims for the head of the snake. Crack! The sound of a .50 BMG round breaking the sound barrier is a whip crack that echoes like a cannon, but sharper. 2,000 yards away, Napoleon's telescope shatters. He isn't dead, not yet, but his hat is gone, and the man standing next to him is a mess of red mist. The French high command freezes. There was no smoke puff. No visible enemy, just a thunderclap from the heavens and a dead general. This is how you break an empire in 5 minutes. Before the first French column even begins its march toward Hougoumont, the sniper shifts his focus. He isn't looking for infantry. He's looking for the Grand Battery. Napoleon's 80 cannons are his pride, the daughters of war. As the crews begin to load the first round, the sniper fires again and again. He isn't hitting the men. He's hitting the ammunition caissons. Massive explosions rock the French lines as black powder reserves ignite from a mile away. To the 19th century soldier, this isn't war, it's sorcery. The French soldiers, superstitious and terrified, look at their officers for orders, but the officers are being picked off one by one. Any man wearing a gold braid or a plumed hat is erased from existence the moment he raises a sword. By the 3-minute mark, the invincible Grand Army is in a state of catatonic shock. Imagine being a French soldier. You are trained to fight a line of men you can see. You are trained to survive a bayonet charge. But how do you fight a shadow that strikes from the horizon? The sniper utilizes his thermal imaging to find the French messengers. Every time a rider leaves Napoleon's side to deliver an order to the flank, a bullet the size of a human thumb traveling at 2,700 feet per second meets them mid-gallop. Napoleon is now blind and deaf. He cannot move his troops. He cannot coordinate his cavalry. The greatest strategist in history is trapped in a 500-yard circle of death. As we cross into the 5th minute, the psychological collapse is total. The British and Prussian forces haven't even fired a single musket volley, yet the French line is wavering. The sniper switches to armor-piercing incendiary rounds. He begins targeting the brass ornaments on the French imperial eagles, the very symbols of their soul. The eagles shatter. The soldiers scream traitor and witchcraft, panic spreading like a virus. The Duke of Wellington, watching through his glass, is bewildered. He sees his greatest rival's army falling apart before the battle has even joined. This is the power of one modern weapon in a world of black powder. It doesn't just kill bodies. It kills the will to fight. Now, as the smoke of the burning ammunition crate settles, the true nightmare begins for the remaining French leadership. The sniper is no longer just defending. He is hunting. He moves with the silence of a ghost, repositioning every 3 shots to ensure his muzzle flash isn't spotted, though with his suppressors and the distance, he is virtually invisible. Napoleon, realizing that his life is forfeit if he stays on his white horse, is forced to dismount and hide in a muddy ditch like a common deserter. The Emperor of the French, the master of Europe, reduced to crawling in the dirt because of a single man 2 miles away. The sniper looks through his Kestrel weather meter, calculating the drop for the next phase. He begins targeting the horses of the elite Imperial Guard. Without their mounts, the heavy cavalry, the shock troops of the era, are just men in heavy steel breastplates, struggling to walk through the thick Waterloo mud. They are sitting ducks for the British infantry. The sniper isn't just killing, he is orchestrating a massacre. He waits for the French to attempt a desperate bayonet charge. As the old guard marches forward, the sniper fires into the tightest ranks. A 50 caliber round doesn't stop at the first person. It travels through 5, 6, 7 men in a row, leaving a literal tunnel of carnage through the formation. By the 8-minute mark, the battle that originally took all day is effectively over. The French army breaks and runs, not because they were outfought by Wellington, but because they were hunted by a god. The sniper packs his Barrett back into its carbon fiber case. He has used exactly 42 rounds. In exchange, he has saved the lives of 50,000 men who would have died that day, but he has also shattered the timeline of human history. What happens next? A world where Napoleon was defeated by a ghost becomes a world obsessed with the supernatural and the technological. Scientists of the 1800s would find the spent 50 caliber casings heavy, machined brass with primer strikes unlike anything they've ever seen. The Industrial Revolution would be forced forward by 200 years as empires scramble to understand how a single tube of steel could outshoot an entire army. The sniper disappears into the woods, leaving behind a broken emperor and a world that will never again feel safe behind a stone wall or a line of cannons. The age of the musket ended today, not with a whimper, but with the thunder of a Barrett. Would you like me to create the visual prompts for these scenes so you can generate the images and video clips now?